latest addition to H&H Reviews.
I'm Hermione Granger and I write for the Daily Prophet.
And I'm Harry Potter, the chosen one, the boy who lived, you know me, and I write for the Quibbler.
Today we will be reviewing the classic film Dead Poets Society.
The film takes place in Melton Academy, an all-boys boarding school in Vermont in the 1950s. We are introduced to John Keating, the English teacher, Neil Perry, Todd Anderson, Knox Overstreet, and Charlie Dalton, students of Mr. Keating. After the rather odd introduction of Mr. Keating to the boys, they begin to grow fond of him and research his time spent at Welton. They discover he was part of a sort of club called Dead Poets Society, and they decide to take it into their own hands to bring it back to life. Hey, sort of like
Harry.
Anyhow, Mr. Keating creates a safe place for the boys and allows them to find their true passions. Peter Weir's adaptation of Dead Poets Society contains ironic humor, impactful themes, and a foreboding climax. Throughout the film, we get to witness and be a part of a light-hearted friendship filled with humor and lots of laughs. It is inevitable to not get a good laugh while watching these boys just be boys. Mr. Keating instructs the boys to rip out the entire introduction of their poetry books, which is rather ironic because one would never expect a teacher to tell you to rip pages out of a book. There are many lessons to be learned throughout one's viewing of Dead Poets Society. Lessons that will have a lifelong impact, lessons I could have definitely benefited from, but that's not the point. Mr. Keating's ways of teaching is meant to have an impact on not only his students, but the viewers as well. On the first day of school and our first time seeing Mr. Keating teach, he gives the students a lesson about how he would like for them to live their lives to the fullest. Acting as the ghosts of former students, Mr. Keating whispers, Now that is a great piece of advice if I've ever heard one, and I certainly have. The boys are left flustered, but nonetheless influenced by this odd teacher's words. The majority of the film is rather lighthearted and optimistically produced. As we get to our climax, things take a dark turn, much like my life. After Neil performs in his play against his father's wishes, Mr. Perry decides to punish Neil and take him out of Welton, enrolling him into military school. Neil did not like this, and he knew that it would not make him happy. Unfortunately, the best day of his life came to an end and came to be his last. He could not live with the fact that his father was forcing him to give up on the one thing that made him happy, theatre. It is truly upsetting to have to witness this. His death was a lesson to all viewers not to allow people to get in the way of what makes you happy.
The Dead Poets Society is a film I consider immensely worthy of a watch due to its incorporation of ironic characterization and humorous symbolism, all while covering significant themes. The ironic characterization in Dead Poets Society shows how starkly different Neil, Todd, and their other friends, Charlie, Knox, and Meeks, are. What makes their storylines so ironic is how they are the least expected outcomes for each character. For example, in a final show of respect for Mr. Keating after he'd been fired, he stood and cried out, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." As one of the main protagonists, Todd Anderson started out the movie as a shy young boy who was new to the school and a legacy kid and kind of an idiot. Sounds like someone else I know. But anyhow, the Dead Poets Society also has an endless amount of symbols. However, the ones that viewers are most likely to pick up on and appreciate are the humorous ones, such as the usage of fire. The very first scene of the film is the first candle, dubbed the Light of Knowledge by Headmaster Nolan. A few very short moments later, fire is utilized once again, this time by returning students, to light cigarettes. This shows what a character Headmaster Nolan and these students are. You know, this story also sounds a little familiar, kind of like the time when you got filthy rich overnight and then proceeded to purchase candy with the entirety of your pocket money. What idiot you both are.
What happened to sticking to the script?
Yeah, because you did such a good job. Within the past few years, movies that are entertaining and cover significant themes have become increasingly popular. Films like Heathers and Blade Runners have recently become popular again. which is most likely due to their major themes of bullying and the reality of life. An obvious example in the Dead Poets Society would be Neil Perry's toxic relationship with his father. When Neil finally stood up to him, he decided to send him to military school. Unfortunately, unable to stand even the thought of continuing to live as he was, Neil took his life. Neil was such a happy character, no one expected it, and it shined a light on the reality of depression and suicide. The theme here, and what the writers are convincing viewers to take away from the film, would be to pursue a path in life that makes you feel accomplished as well as happy. And although there are some heavy themes, there's also an abundance of comedic relief. The boys of the film coined the school as Helton rather than Welton, and poked at its 4 principles, calling them travesty, horror, decadence, and excrement, rather than tradition, honor, discipline, and excellence. The usage of comedic relief provides extra attention to the important subject matter, but in a way audiences can enjoy more. And that's about it. Due to its incorporation of ironic characterization, humorous symbolism, and significant topics, Dead Poets Society has become a movie I definitely recommend. The perfect balance of various types of comedy through the characterization, the symbolism, and moments of relief mixed with these bold topics create a film entertaining and educating, which I believe is very important. Dead Poets Society is most certainly a must-see movie.
Through the playful humor, touching our hearts, impactful themes awakening our vision, and the foreboding climax changing the way we see things, Dead Poets Society is a piece of art that no one can miss out on. We go through all of the emotions of the characters, and the execution is flawless, absolutely brilliant. And it manages to keep my attention throughout the span of the entire movie.
Crazy.
And that,
Very crazy.
my friend, is amazing. Dead Poets Society is one of the most influential pieces of art of our time. Never will I stop recommending this film. Thanks for watching H&H Reviews. Join us next week when we review Twilight.
This is Harry, and I'm Hermione. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.